Hey guys, Alec TV here. So, on this episode of Engines of the MBTA, we will be discussing the GP40MC. Without further ado, let's get started. The story of the GP40MC starts with the Canadian National, or CN. In the early 1970s, the CN needed a new freight road switcher and overall just wanted a cool new locomotive. EMD responded to this request with the GP40-2LW. The GP40-2LW was built from 1973 to 1975. These locomotives would prove very reliable on the Canadian National Service. Not only would they serve on shorter local trains, but would also serve on long-distance trains. These locomotives would power the Canadian National through the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. These locomotives began to show their age, so the Canadian National decided to do a refurbishment plan. From 1997 to 1998, with the company AMF, they created the GP40MC. The Canadian National did not need the GP40MC, so they sold 25 units to the MBTA as switchers. And this was how the MBTA GP40MC was born. Now for the specifics. The GP40MC rode on a B-B wheel arrangement, had a top speed of around 100 miles an hour, and weighed in at 250,000 pounds, surprisingly less than the F40PH. These locomotives were equipped with extremely loud Nathan K5LAs. Here's a really quick sample from my intro. Although the GP40MC had bad HEP, it proved extremely reliable on the MBTA service. Although these locomotives were switchers, the MBTA did need a new passenger locomotive, since their F40PHs were the only passenger locomotive on the MBTA. So, the MBTA converted the GP40MCs for passenger service, and they started passenger service in the early 2000s. Although the GP40MCs did great in passenger service, their terrible HEP did not help matters at all. The terrible HEP would cause many delays, and in some cases, even cancellations of trains. This would not help the MBTA with their whole not many passenger locomotives issue at all, but the GP40MCs did push on in service. Although the GP40MCs were doing great, except for their HEP, in 2014, the MBTA did buy a replacement locomotive, the HSP46, or as I like to call them, the smooth turns. They did not replace the GP40MC, of course. They're crappy pieces of literally set on fire every time they are started up. So of course, it did not replace the GP40MC, let alone any locomotive at all. But the HSP46 story is for another episode. On a more happy note, GP40MC 1136 was painted into the MassDOT Fishbones paint scheme. The MassDOT Fishbones paint scheme is a great paint scheme, and I honestly love it. This new paint scheme on this GP40MC looks amazing. This GP40MC was only painted into this scheme just a couple weeks ago from when I'm posting this, and is very new and is very rare to catch, especially on the north side. Also very recently, the MBTA made a deal with Norfolk Southern to make rebuilds for the GP40MC. I don't know what they're going to look like, but I honestly think they're going to look pretty good. The Norfolk Southern just took a handful of GP40MCs for rebuilds in their shops, but many of the GP40MCs are of course still in service. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tune in next time when we will be discussing the HSP46, or as I like to call them, the smooth turns. Well, hope you enjoyed. See ya.